And when you get to that finished product, maybe hours, days, maybe even months later, you've put all of that time and effort into making something you are proud of. It's a good feeling. It really is. I absolutely love filmmaking, editing, filming, all of it. I absolutely love it. Now, it has to be said that I know absolutely nothing about cars whatsoever. However, this week I got to drive the brand new Audi RS3 and shoot and edit this video. I'm so happy with how it turned out. Now, the video does go on for even longer. It's about a 5-minute long review video. However, in this video, I just want to talk about that intro that we just watched through, and I'm going to talk about how I shot and edited it all together to get that final finished product. So I'm going to pour myself a Bailey's because it's Christmas, and then we're going to screen record my computer and talk about that whole process. Be rude not to. Christmas. Oh, it's definitely Christmas now. Okay, so here we are inside Final Cut, and you can see the whole finished project from start to finish here in the timeline. So we have the nice intro that we just watched, and then it goes into a little bit of a review video. This is Natalia, who I work with, and the main part of the video that I want to focus on is the intro. So what I wanted to do in this intro is almost take the viewer along on a little bit of an intro, and this took some planning out beforehand. So I got my idea and wrote it down so I knew what I was trying to do when I went to shoot it, and I had a little bit of a shot list put together as well, so I knew exactly what I needed to get. So then when it got into this stage of editing, I knew I had everything I needed for the sequence. So these clips that I'm highlighting now are all the main video clips for the sequence. So there actually isn't that many shots inside the sequence. They are all filmed in S-Log2 on my Sony a7C, and what filming in S-Log allows you to do is record a much greater dynamic range. So from the highlights to the shadows, it captures much more detail, and that gives you so much more room for color grading when it comes to the final stage of editing your footage. It is also all filmed in 25 frames a second, which if you want to try and achieve the cinematic look where you get nice natural motion blur, 25 frames a second with a shutter speed of 50 frames a second is exactly what you want to be doing to achieve that look. So the sequence starts off with some nice simple establishing shots to show the Audi dealership, and then it goes into some nice short, sharp bursts of clips following the beat of the music. And the thinking behind this was because the Audi RS3 is a very sporty and high-end product, I wanted to try and get some energy into the video early on. As I mentioned, I wanted it to flow nicely. So all of these clips that I'm highlighting now are all very simple static shots filmed on a tripod and nothing more. They are very, very simple. However, to make it slightly more interesting, what I did with this clip was I added in a slight dolly zoom using just keyframes. So by highlighting the start of the clip, you can see that we are at 152% scale. And as we zoom in to the end of the clip, it is 180. So what that does is it just helps draw you into the image even more, because if we take these transforms off, you can see it just doesn't look very interesting at all. So by adding in that little crop and a little bit of a zoom, just helps draw you into what is coming next inside the video. I've also, on this clip, you can see these two custom clips as well. And these are the two black bars that come in from the top and the bottom. Now, the whole theory behind this is to give it more of a widescreen feel. So even though it was recorded in a standard 16:9 aspect ratio, which is a normal video format, This helps just give it that more cinematic, widescreen feel. Now when we get to here is when you start to see the Audi RS3 in more detail as it starts to pull away. And I really like this shot because even though we've had a nice burst of energy with the short, sharp clips, this slows it straight back down and you can just listen to the engine and you can see it pulling out. And what I really like about this shot as well is how you can see the reflection of the car inside the number plate that is on the left here. I think that just looks so good. And even though this is a static shot, I didn't want to add in any sort of zoom or crop or anything because I think it just helps build that level of suspense. Because underneath this clip, I put in all of these sound effects. So if you listen closely, you can start to hear the car revving and driving faster along a road. And that's where it brings you into this next clip where even though the car is out of focus, you're starting to see the car on a more sporty level. So as you start to see this car driving down the country lane, this is where the video starts to build again. So even though we had a nice high energy start and it went down into a nice little bit of a quieter patch, this is where it starts to build as you can hear the car getting closer and then the music kicks in and it's a nice fast-paced high energy piece again. So you can see that it gives you a perspective of being sat in the car and then outside the car and then back in the car. And I tried to alternate that up as much as I could as it makes it more interesting to the viewer by having perspectives from outside and inside the car. And then at the end of the sequence, the car pulls up directly in front of the camera. And that is the first point in this video where you get to see the Audi RS3 in all its glory, because the rest of the video is just helping build the scene and build the intrigue to get you interested in what is going to come in the video. These two widescreen bars at the top stay on throughout the whole intro until they start to fade away at the end of the intro. So just by adding these in, it helps it look a little bit more professional, a little bit more cinematic, and almost like it is filmed on a very expensive anamorphic lens. Even though it isn't, and we don't get those nice anamorphic flares, it looks along those lines. So once I had all of my clips in place, it looked absolutely nothing like this. So for example, if we look at this clip here of the car driving along, nice and blurred out behind the post, if we take all of the transforms off this, all of the color boards, we will get rid of these and we'll get rid of the color grades as well. This is what the original image looked like with the sound that was recorded on the camera. So as you can see, it's not very interesting at all in the slightest. It's going very slow. We couldn't drive very fast along this country lane because break the law, you don't want to do that. And also the sound on the camera is absolutely dreadful. So the first thing I did with most of these clips where the car is driving along is speed it up by 2%. So that instantly makes it look like the car is driving a lot faster. And then what we did was we added in some transforms. You can see that just by adding in these rotations helps straighten the image out. And I also moved it lower down as well so I could keep the car in the middle of the shot, because when we add in these widescreen bars, the car is now in the middle. And if I take them off again, the car is now at the top. And obviously your eye is drawn to the center of the image, so I wanted the car to be in the center. And what I did then with this clip was add in a little bit of a pan to the right to follow the car along the road. So if I click play, you can see the pole is moving slightly, and that again helps draw your attention into the car. Even though it is out of focus, it is drawing you into that car. So that is the most time-consuming part of any editing, is going through all of the clips and making any adjustments that you need to. So what I did then to the clip was I added in a color correction. So I added a base correction, which helps just add more contrast and saturation. And then I added a bit of a look grade on top. And this just gives it that nice mood that I wanted to. So because this is a nice sporty, aggressive car, I wanted it to have a nice dark feel to it. And adding that look grade on top really helps to achieve that. So this clip, for example, if we take the car to the end and we put on these horizon lines, you can see that the car's not in the middle. It doesn't look very straight either. So by adding in some more transforms, we straightened it up and it's now directly in the center. However, because I have rotated it slightly to make it straight, it is cut off the end slightly. So I had to scale it up to fit the framing even more. So now it is directly in the shot. And then we added the color corrections to that clip because it was slightly brighter than it should have been. And then add the base correction, add the look grade, and add in the widescreen clips. And that is a nice finished clip that you want to be able to view. So once you have all of your clips cut to the music, you've got your nice color grade put on top and maybe some widescreen bars if you wanted to go for that look. You've got everything cut to the music. You could leave it like that if you wanted to, and this is what it would look like. And it looks okay. It's nothing special. It looks all right. It's usable. So what you want to do is add in as many sound effects as you possibly can. And this is what helps take the video to that next level, because this is what a lot of people tend to miss out, because it is very time consuming. It can be slightly frustrating as well. So by adding these sound effects, it just helps take it to the next level and draw you into the video even more. So the first thing I did was I added in these two sound clips to the start of the video, and it is just a nice little whoosh sound and some morning birds. But then you can go even further, and you can see here that in this picture we have some flags that are waving in the wind. So I went and got some flag sounds. And that again just helps that picture look so much more interesting than if it's just wind, for example. Just looks a bit boring, and it sounds a bit boring as well. So by adding in some birds and some wind of the flag, you start to use your senses even more, and it draws you into this video. But then what I did again was, because the Audi RS3 is a sporty high-end product, I wanted to build some suspense. So I found some heartbeats. And that just helps build the suspense and get you intrigued into what is coming next in the video. And then you get the car starting. Again, I did use this clip of the audio slightly from the actual camera. But then when you add in these sound effects as well, you see the difference. It doesn't need any explaining. And another important thing when you are editing is to overlap clips to almost hide the cuts as much as you possibly can. So with this clip, for example, you can start to see the car getting closer, which also, if you think about it, means you need to hear the car getting closer as well. So it needs to start off quieter and build and build and build until it sounds like it's right next to you. So I added in some clips starting from around halfway through this clip, so I could start to build the sound underneath and fade them up slowly until it starts to sound like the car is actually really passing past you. So there you can start to hear the car revving, and it sounds like it's in the distance. And then you see it, and it gets even closer, and bam, it starts to actually drive past you. And then it is just a continuation of exactly that. So everything that you see in your clips, try and get a sound effect for what that creates. So here you can start to see the rev counter revving. Get a sound effect of the car revving, so you are seeing and hearing that same thing at the same time. And that will help take your videos to the next level and just make them so much more interesting. Sound design does take a very long time. It really does. It can be very frustrating, but if you can get through it, if you can put the time and effort into it, it will just elevate your videos to the next level. What you want to try and do as well is fill as much space with sound design as you possibly can, as then the music can sit underneath and the sound design does most of the talking. So what I'll do now is I'll play it through from the car starting with no music and just sound design so you can see what it sounds like. So there you go. That is how I shot and edited this sequence together of the brand new Audi RS3. And yeah, hopefully that helps you out if you are interested in making something like this yourself and getting into videography. I'd highly recommend it because it is so much fun. It really is. I think editing is almost my favorite part of filmmaking. I absolutely love it because you can just get so in detail with it. You can add as many keyframes as you want, add as many sound effects as you want, color grade it, just make it look as good as you want. And when you get to that finished product, maybe hours, days, maybe even months later, you've put all of that time and effort into making something you are proud of. It's a good feeling. It really is. I absolutely love filmmaking, editing, filming, all of it. I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to do even more next year in 2022. That is it from me before Christmas. You might see me between Christmas and New Year, but I'm going to have a little bit of a break. I'm going to force myself to get away from making videos because I do it so much. I'm going to go and drink lots of Baileys and relax. I hope everyone has an amazing Christmas. I'll see you very soon in the next video. Drink all the Baileys you can. Oh, it's definitely Christmas now.